Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Talking Shit About with me, Elizabeth, and soon Bree from New Old Future. Welcome to the show where we talk about things that are shitty or things that are good but have some shitty aspects. And the episodes come out the first Friday of each month, and this is part 3 of our grief series. Bree is going to be sharing about her loss and the grieving process. So, Bree, thanks for your vulnerability and for sharing your story. You'll hear mention of War of the Gate, which if you've listened to the Toto or Thumbs episode, you've heard a little bit about Belagarth. That's what that is. There's an event in September, so I'm going to throw the links up in the notes in case you are interested. And once again, you will hear me talk about military time, because I don't know, I guess I'm just that smart that I use military time on my computer. So pretty cool of me. All right, let's go ahead and talk some shit. Hello and welcome to part 3 of our Talking Shit About Grief series. I'm here today with Bree.
Hello.
And we're going to talk shit about her life.
Yay!
Just kidding. Sort of. But before we get into all of that, I will go ahead and let you introduce yourself and all of the cool artistic and musical things that you do.
Okay. I'm Bree, and I play in a band that's really cool called New Old Future. I make zines of stories that I write, short stories. And I also teach children at rural schools how to play ukulele and guitar.
Yeah. Have you always been musically inclined?
Pretty much, yeah. And our parents made us take piano lessons when we were really tiny, because they were like, you have to learn this before you can play another instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah. Used to make guitars out of like cardboard boxes and paint sticks and rubber bands and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I always wanted to have a band, and now I do.
Yeah. How old were you when you were in your first band?
Oh God, 2002. 21, I think 21 or 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my brother and I started a band called End Stop, and he's the drummer for our band now, but he hasn't always been. And we played a bunch of gigs at a house show place called The Lab.
The Lab. Was that here in Missoula?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
It was over by Morgan Roth Music, and it was just like kind of a nasty punk house, but one of the best house show places I've ever played.
Nice.
Yeah.
What other projects have you done?
I also had like a solo project called Meanie Jones for a while, which I think is still up on SoundCloud or something really antiquated. And I was in a girl band called Needlecraft for a while. We recorded an album. Yeah, that's pretty much been my musical history.
Yeah. Are you doing anything currently?
We have an album that's coming out this fall.
Nice.
I'm really excited about it. We just got like the masters back, and
Ooh.
so we're trying to figure out how to release it, if we want to do like some singles first, or if we want to go like full hard media, do CDs, or just electronic. And like as soon as we had that one recorded, we started working on new material.
Mm-hmm.
And then having new members in the band made it, we had to kind of stop for a few, but now we're to the point where we're cohesive enough that we can like write together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty much ready to go back in and record another album.
Nice.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yes.
I feel like there was a lot of like panic in the beginning of the pandemic for like a lot of good reasons. and like a lull for artists because there weren't any shows, but then it's like a renaissance. I feel like there's now all this stuff coming out and people are producing again and using all of this like trauma and just absolute batshit world events and creating stuff that's so beautiful. So it's cool you have pandemic baby art.
Yeah, we definitely like all spent the pandemic really wanting to play shows and getting together for practice because we didn't really know what else to do. And masked practice is horrible, but it's better than no practice.
Yeah.
So I think that's partially why we just have like so much material. I mean, I write the songs in the band and stuff, and I write a lot of songs that I'm like, this song sucks and will never be played in the band. But, you know, every once in a while a good one pops out and I'm like, ooh, yeah, take it to band.
Yeah. Sweet. Is your whole... so your brother was in a band with you. Oh, I don't know if you mentioned this, but what instruments do you play?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I play rhythm guitar and sing. My brother Zach plays the drums. My brother-in-law Kyle plays the bass. And then our friend Logan plays guitar. Like lead guitar.
Nice.
And Kyle does some backgrounds, and I think Logan's gonna start doing some background vocals too soon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked on them. They're a great group of guys.
Yeah, it always feels like I love booking you for shows, and I'm so excited that you guys are playing More the Gate again. Like, yes. That warms my heart.
Yeah. When Thumbs got at us, I was just like, of course we will. And then I was like, guys, we have to play this show. It's going to be very special and fun. And they were all just like, okay, cool. I was like, okay, sweet. Kyle was like, yes, it is excellent, and we must.
Yeah. Y'all are like the reoccurring headliners.
Someday we're gonna write like the ultimate War of the Gate song and just bust it out.
Yeah. Make it speed metal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get, like, the double kick drum pedal thing going on.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So, is the rest of your family pretty musical, too?
My sister played clarinet and bass clarinet and piano really, really well. Like, she was a better pianist than I was, for sure. But, like, in my mom's family, they didn't play music, but they had, like, aunts and uncles who did on the farm. Mm-hmm. So they would go back to eastern Montana and have these, like, all day and night kind of picnicky things where the dudes would just, like, get drunk and play a bunch of old, like, Hank Snow and stuff.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
And, in my dad's family, everyone played an instrument, and his mother actually had a band called Rosalie and the Melodies, where she played ragtime piano, and...
Oh, fun.
I never got to see them play or anything, because she passed away when I was really little, but I do remember her, like, playing ragtime piano for me and my youngest aunt, who's, like, a year older than me, year and a half. Mm-hmm. And we would just, like, dance in the living room, and dance and dance and dance until we fell down. I don't know, I must have been like 3 or something. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, and my mom and our dad also were really, really well listened music fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, they loved all types of music, so we were exposed to, like, the entire rainbow of music by the time we could, like, walk, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, we learned to operate the stereo and the record player so that we wouldn't mess them up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, smart.
Our parents were just like, this is how you do it, and you can't do this and this and this, otherwise you'll scratch the record, or if the tape does this, you need to stop it because it's eating the tape. Like, oh, okay. Like, and none of us ever, like, scratched an album of theirs or fucked up a tape or, you know, you'd be like, hey, I want to listen to Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. My mom would be like, put it on. So that was pretty cool. Pretty much since I started playing guitar when I was like 16 or 15, my mom has been a super supporter of my music and my writing, and she's a really busy grandma now, but she still tries to make it to our shows, which is really cool.
Oh, awesome.
She just, like, jams out super hard.
Oh.
And I don't know. It's really awesome to be able to, like, fulfill your parents' dream in a way like that, where they really wanted you to enjoy music and make music, and then you do and can.
Yeah. What if they had wanted you to play basketball?
That didn't happen. I didn't catch the basketball bug.
Yeah.
They did, though. They were like, "You're tall. You're gonna be good at this." And I was like, "I'm clumsy."
That always seems to be the one qualification. They're like, "Oh, you're tall." I mean, they never said that to me. They did when I was, like, really little and I had my growth spurt and before everybody else, but then after that, it's been a small hill from there.
Did you play basketball?
Well, I got second place in free throw basketball in the 3rd grade. So
that's pretty awesome.
Whatever that's worth.
I can play horse, like, passably well, but I get beaten on the regular by, like, 8-year-olds. So.
Yeah.
You can dunk.
So, did your sister, what kind of music did your sister play?
She played mostly, like, classical music, and she played in school. She played, like, in marching band. So, you know, it was kind of like anything from Mozart to, like, the Blues Brothers kind of stuff was, like, our band teacher's kind of catalog, I guess. And, like, she could still play songs that she had memorized from, like, 6th grade. I don't know. She would just, like, bust out Pachelbel's Canon D all the time.
Wild.
And I was just like, damn, dude. You can remember that, and you can play it. And, like, I've never been very good at reading music. I'm way better at watching somebody do something and then doing it. And she could read music, so you could put, like, a piece of music in front of her that she'd never seen, and she could, like, sight read through it on the first try. It was pretty incredible. I was always in awe of that.
Yeah, some people just have those brains. They can just... I'm not one of them either. Don't.
She was really good at math, and she had a super math brain, so I think that helped. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
I am not good at math unless we're playing, like, cribbage or something, and I can do, like, card game math.
Yeah.
And I can do, like, building math or, like, you know, applied mathematics.
I can do, like, counting change math and, like, telling time math. Like, between military and regular, because you subtract 2 hours.
That's good.
Well, to a certain point, but yeah, that's how I do it.
That's good math. I'm not good at those maths. Like, how many hours did I work today? I don't know. You calculate it. I'll just write the times I came and left. And she really loved dance, and she coached, like, a dance team out at Bonner School for, like, her senior project, and then she just kept going back and doing it for a couple of years. Like, so she took music down this totally different road than, like, my brother and I took it, which was really cool. And she like, probably most strongly identified with, like, pop music. And she was, like, the person in my life who was like, it's okay to admit that you like pop music.
Yes, you always need to hear that.
Yeah. And I was just like, it is? Okay. Like, Avril Lavigne is kind of cool.
That was the first CD I ever spent my own money on. Let It Go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I think my very first CD that I bought was The Breeders' Last Splash.
I don't know what that is, and that means it's probably really cool.
It's a good CD.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a record. But, yeah. I didn't buy it, like, the year it came out or anything. I was just like, I love this video that's on MTV right now, and I need this CD. And then it was like, whoa, the Pixies. Whoa, this band, they're all connected. It was so weird to be like, all of these members are in everybody else's band? Or like, this band turned into like these bands?
Are you like interested in like the, like, do you pay attention to like different members and stuff and like who's in what? Because my brain's just like, oh, that band, and I know like maybe a few individual artist names, but like if they're in a band, as far as I'm concerned, they're like one person.
I'm pretty good at it, like, especially if I've read it like on an album jacket or something. I'm like, okay, I can associate you with the picture and I will remember your name.
Nice. Can you remember any of the Backstreet Boys?
I
can't. I get them and NSYNC mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I just
can't remember
wanted to
them
say
either.
Justin Timberlake, but that's wrong. It's NSYNC, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I one time had like the Backstreet Boys like birthday party, and they were like printed on a birthday cake for me. It was a huge deal.
Dude, my sister was so into BSB.
Yeah.
She had tickets to see them, like, that got canceled during COVID, but then they were like planning on having a tour date eventually, so she just like missed them by a few.
Dang. So yeah, you down to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we can
so
talk
she
about
passed pretty recently, right?
Yeah, last September.
Yeah.
It still seems like it was like yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and every morning it's like the first thing I think of. It's like, my sister. She is not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she died in a car crash where there wasn't like alcohol or drugs or speeding or really anything involved. We're still not totally sure like what happened, but she went off the road and died, probably by breaking her neck. But again, we're still not sure. Like, I swear somebody told me, like, right after she died that there was a bee in the car, and that's why she went off the road. But, like, I don't know if that is something that my brain made up, because that had happened before. She, like, rear-ended somebody because there was a bee in the car. She was really allergic to bees. But I don't know. It's weird. It's just like, yeah, she died in a car wreck. That's all we know.
Does that bother you a lot?
It really bothers me. Because, like, I just hope that it was, like, really quick, you know? I don't know if it would make me feel better to know more, you know? It's kind of like, like, nothing feels good about it.
Yeah.
I keep making hand motions, and I realize that
No,
one can
you're
hear
good.
that.
No, you're good. Do it. It's like natural. I do it too. Did you have a memorial service?
Yeah, we had a memorial service for, like, the week after it happened. And, like, she was cremated, but we all got to go, like, see her body one last time and say goodbye. Which I'm glad we got that opportunity.
Does your family normally do wakes or open caskets?
Well, I don't know, because, like, my grandma passed away not, like, maybe 10 years ago. And she was also cremated, and we had a big memorial for her at our house. Like, my dad's side of the family has, like, actual, like, burial plots and stuff. So, like, when that grandpa died, it was a totally different... It was, like, a Catholic funeral versus, like, a home funeral kind of thing, you know? Yeah, I think we're kind of, like, it should be a celebration of life sort of family. But also, there is a lot of crying, or was, you know.
There should be. It's usually a good thing to feel your feelings.
Yeah, and her memorial, like, the whole funeral home was packed, and there were people in the hall and standing out the door, and it was just incredible to see, like, the amount of people who my sister touched with, you know, touched their lives. It was also really bizarre, too, to have, like, you know, it was during the pandemic still, so, like, everybody's masked up, and...
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing people I haven't seen since, like, you know, my sister was in high school and stuff, and, like, trying to recognize people and, like, be super respectful toward them and their grief was so, like, it was just weird and very, very awkward.
Yeah. It's like no one knows how to act.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I don't know how to act. Nobody else knows how to act. Like, I just want to go home and drink beer and cry.
Yeah. Which I feel like, I like those memorial services that are that vibe. That's kind of the vibe that we had for my grandpa's. Yeah, everyone just kind of barbecue and hang out. And I think they did a burial of ashes too, but yeah, like when my dad died, I like didn't want to go to the funeral. I was like sitting in the car like right before it started, like almost drove off, and I was like, nah, I don't want to like deal with the drama. It wasn't that like, I would feel bad about not going. It's like, no, I just don't want the drama. Yeah, I don't know. They can be intense. But did you find it like cathartic at all?
I was still pretty much like in shock.
Yeah.
When it happened, and it still seems like some kind of weird dream to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like maybe I imagined all of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I was pretty wrecked for a few months. I just like would have to like leave my work and go to my office and cry like 15 times during a 10-hour day.
Mm-hmm.
And calling into work because I was just like, I need to stay home and cry today.
Yeah. Because one bad interaction with somebody is just gonna like...
Yeah, and also like people coming in and being like, hey, I haven't seen you forever, but I'm so sorry about your sister. We went to school together. We had ballet together. Or like, she coached my dance team. And I was just like it was really cool that so many people knew my sister, but it was also really hard to like try to distract myself with work and then have it like pop up here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of selfish, but it was just really hard to deal with that. And it still is. Like, I still am running into people who are like, I just heard the news.
Mm-hmm.
Or like people will be like, how's your sister? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, she is no longer with us. So, I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and like, I feel like there's never a graceful way to say it either. Or a way that's gonna like feel like I'm gonna feel good by the time I deliver this bad news. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I don't feel like I've ever really like sat down with anybody other than my counselor and been like, what is grief like? Or, like, what am I gonna do if like my mom dies or something?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I never thought about one of my siblings passing away, especially before I did. I was like, yeah, we're all gonna get old and I'm gonna go first because like I drink and I smoke. And like everything about it is like unsettlingly surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I guess it would have been nice to talk to somebody like growing up who had lost a brother or sister. It's like I had friends whose parents had lost brothers or sisters, but they never talked about it. We didn't really talk about any sort of anything having to do with death other than like people went to heaven or hell. And so it's like everything about like life experience left me unprepared for this. And I don't know, I think people should talk about death more and grieving and the processes that we go through when somebody dies.
Yeah, there's a lot of like studies and research on that, and the consensus is like, yeah, learn about it, live with it, like experience it around you, and just recognize that it's a natural thing. And yeah, it's like I feel like I had a grandma pass when I was young, but like we weren't that close, but it's gonna hit you like totally different for like every scenario. And I'm rambling now, but it's just so chaotic and uncontrollable. Just kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, if we talked about stuff like this, would we be, like, better equipped to deal with it when it happens?
Yes. Sorry, that's where we were going. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What research there is shows yes. And that's where I went off on my tangent. But continue if you were going to keep
Oh, no.
going.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm glad. Thank you for validating me.
Yeah. Yeah.
With science.
This is a Science is Real podcast and recognizes that science changes over time, and that's what makes science good. So just throwing that out there while we're here.
Yay!
Yay! So what are the things that have been helpful for you in your grieving process? I have in front of me some zines called The Process.
Yeah, the first one is The
Yeah.
Process, and the second one is called Little America.
Mm-hmm.
I started writing fiction stories about, like, kind of what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a zine class because I was trying to do something that would, like, stimulate me creatively. And
Yeah.
I was kind of having a weird creative time where, like, all I can write about is this thing. But then it was like, no, actually, this thing is something that I can like work through the grieving process with by being like, okay, let's write out like what bargaining is like.
Mm-hmm.
Or like all the crazy thoughts I had after she died about like what if you can really raise people from the dead? Like, can I raise a body from the dead by just getting some ashes? I had that literal thought, and I still am like, that is totally reasonable to think that, like, maybe that could be possible. But I was like, what if I had a time machine and I could go back and stop this? And then it was like, what if I invented time travel because of a death?
What if it was actually someone else's body and it wasn't theirs? Like, yeah, I'm not trying to give you new ideas, but
No, totally.
your brain does that.
Yeah. Like, they got the wrong person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wrote a story about time travel and death, and then I wrote another story about, like, organ donors, because my sister was an organ donor, and a little while after she died, her husband got a card saying that somebody had received one of her kidneys, and her eyes also went to help somebody see who had been sighted but then had like lost their vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, what if I ran into somebody who had my sister's eyes? Like, would they recognize me? Would I recognize them? Like,
That's such an interesting thought.
and it's like, what if like my sister's eyes make somebody out in the world like remember us? Kind of obsessed with meeting that person. And like I wrote another story about reanimating a body. That's kind of like a gothic horror story, and how it just ends badly. I mean, the ending is an okay ending. Like, the writing is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole reanimating the dead corpse thing ends badly.
As it tends to do.
Yeah.
Does.
I asked one of my friends who's really into magic, like, do you think I could reanimate a body with just ashes? And he was like, yeah, but you'd have to trade your soul to the master of the underworld.
Mm.
And I was like, I'd do that. like, I'm not above doing anything to bring my sister back from the dead, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So,
at least you're not sacrificing another soul. Because that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I'm pro-soul.
Mm-hmm.
I am anti-soul stealing.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that stance, it's kind of hard to, like, take action, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been a really good outlet for me to deal with a lot of feelings I've I've been having that are pretty overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've been writing music about her, and I'm starting a project with my nephew, who's her oldest son, Ezra, called B&E, where he like writes music and I write lyrics to it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very talented guitarist.
How old is he?
He's 14.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started giving him guitar lessons when he was like 11, I think, and he surpassed me in knowledge so quickly. I was just like, wow, dude, you're a pro. Like, can you show me how to play this riff?
Mm-hmm.
And he's really wonderful. And I also did a bunch of fundraising locally with the band and started a project out at Potomac School where her kids go to school,
Mm-hmm.
where last year I taught last school year, so this year I taught second and third graders ukulele, that I like wrote little songs for them to learn, like,
Mm-hmm.
build up their like chord knowledge and their fingering and everything, and they also learn to sing while they play. And then I taught 8th graders guitar, and it's called the Jasmine Venetia Stringed Instrument Project, and so many of the little kids were so excited to learn an instrument. And then we had a concert at the end of the school year,
Mm-hmm.
and they all did so well, and it was just like, it gave me hope, and that was something that I was missing for a few months. Like, I was just completely, like, drowning in hopelessness, and I don't know, being able to work with kids and see them in action and how fast they learn and grow, it's very nice. And it's very like comforting too, to like get to know a group of kids and have them be like, Miss Bree, Miss Bree, Miss Bree, Miss Bree, I'm gonna write songs on my own. Can I take the ukulele home? I'm like, no, you can't, but that's cool. Have your parents buy you a ukulele. And like my nephew Jasper, who's 8, came home after like summer vacation had started and told my mom that he wanted a dark purple ukulele.
Very specific.
So we got him a dark purple ukulele because
Nice.
he really wants to write his own songs. And I gave him a little book of the songs that we had learned in school and stuff, and he was, the other day, was like, I need more songs.
Aww.
I was like, okay, cool. And I'll do it again next year with the 3rd graders, which will be a 3rd grader, and the classes got big enough they had to split them apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll teach 8th graders guitar again. So it's cool. It's something I'm like really looking forward to doing.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun doing, and it didn't, like, for a while fun felt like a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like some special kind of fun because I was like doing a task that was hard. So it was like okay fun to have.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was like doing something to help somebody else have a better life. So it was okay. I don't know. I'm not sure what like the balance or the equation was there, but
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like the first crack of the door on being able to like have fun again.
Mm-hmm.
And being like, it's okay to laugh. Or like, you know, I don't have to like be in mourning 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a really long answer to a short question.
No,
Sorry.
that was good. No, you're supposed to talk a lot, so it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I don't have that many questions, so it's good. The more you talk, the better.
Would you mind if we took a smoke break?
Yeah, let's do it. Doot, doot, doot. Pause.
Do you smoke? Only when I drink coffee. Drink a lot of coffee before I go to sleep so I can dream fast.
We're back.
We're back for our sort of wrap-up question. And that is, what advice would you give to yourself? I know your sister passing happened pretty recently, but given the time that's passed and what you've done so far, do you have any advice for Bree at the beginning of all this?
It's okay to cry. Cry as much as you want. and like feel all the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't feel them at the time, they're gonna come back even bigger and even worse. And also, like, it's okay to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I felt really trapped by grief in a lot of ways that made me not be able to help myself, I guess. I straight up couldn't play or sing for like 2 months. And then when I finally like broke through that, I felt like I was doing like work. You know, I was like writing music and it wasn't supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a while to get back into that, like, I wrote a song today that's just fun, you know, kind of. I don't know, the band is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be about, like, expression and feelings, and, like, being a lesbian and being okay singing about women on stage, and like, you know, it wasn't fun for a while because I wasn't letting myself have fun. And then when I actually finally, you know, got that door cracked on the fun zone, it was so much, it was so helpful. Like, just to be able to have that relief from constant sadness and, like, sorrow and guilt. And a small bit of escape, you know, and it's okay. It's okay to do that, you know? It's okay to find your way back to what made you happy.
Perfect. Cheers. If people would like to find your music or just more about all the things you do, how can they do that?
You can find us at newoldfuture.com. We're also on Instagram as @NewOldFuture. And I think there's links to all of our stuff on our page there. And you can also email me at pinkfreud81 at yahoo.com if you are interested in any zines.
Ooh, yes, yes.
Because I think I'm probably going to be writing about death and grief for a while.
Awesome. Right on brand. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for coming out to interview me.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out and sharing and being really vulnerable, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah, I really think if more people had these conversations, things wouldn't be as hard when someone passes.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to sit down with another human who understands what it's like to have somebody leave you so suddenly is also, I don't know, it feels good, you know, it feels like less insular, because, I mean, grief is such an interior process, and to be able to, like, verbalize with somebody else and be like, no, this is actually outside of me as well, it helps. I wish I could be more articulate.
No, you're perfect.
But it does. It's very helpful.
Good. I was kind of worried with the series I would just, like, re-traumatize people and make them feel bad by the end of it. So I'm glad helpful is a word that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it never feels good, you know, but it helps.
Yeah.
So, thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you again.